Hey everybody, it's your girl Bunny. To all of my returning subscribers, hey, how you doing? And for those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. Kick your feet up, subscribe to this family-friendly channel, and click that notification bell so you don't miss any post. I give a recap of the entire episode with photos offset to the side, and then closer to the end, I give my review and discussion questions at the end. No need to search around. I put all of the details in the comments with the minute mark. I got the recap coming up next. Darius meets up with Grace, brings her some coffee because they want to talk about this lead information that Cal shared with Grace about this mysterious Eatonville lending. And Grace says, all the information that I could find online was that they refinance loans and it was pre-internet. And it's obvious that someone wants to make it look like the company never existed. And Darius says, that's why I got to go to Vegas because I got to find out what's going on with this. It's just very strange. And she also says that the 3-day lift to see AJ is approaching. And Darius says, after I started inquiring about all this information, I got fired. And there's no explanation about what happened, but it's evident it's politics, and Bob Whitmore wanted him gone. And they wanted to kill the story. Karissa wakes up Jacob with all of the sunlight just disturbing his rest. And he's just like, oh man, can you close the curtains? What's going on? And she's like, well, I'm heading to work where adults go. I'm having a meeting with Dante after school, which of course will run over and be late because your boy is always late. So I need you to pick up your son after chess. And he's just like, sure, I'll do it. I never said that I wouldn't do it. And she says, you know what? This is why I'm getting primary custody, because you can't take 1 hour with your son. And Jacob's just like, you know what? I never said that I wouldn't do it. If you're so miserable here, just leave. Just go. And Karissa says, you know what? I'll do that as soon as I know that my children and I are well taken care of. Bishop and Lady May brainstorm about church names, and they're Googling to see if anything else pops up and if anybody else has taken that name. And while thinking of names, Bishop says, you know what? What about this name? And she's like, if you remember, we just went to a church with that name not too long ago. You remember when we picked apples and it's where we got the cider? And it's evident that Bishop is becoming more and more forgetful, and Lady May takes note of that. She urges him to get a physical soon, and Bishop is very reluctant. And as he's saying, no, I'm healthy, there's nothing to be concerned about, Charity walks into the room. And Bishop, as he's about to ask her a question, she says, Daddy, I'm not singing for your church. And it's this, wow, can I even open my mouth to ask you a question? And Lady May says, I'm just so surprised that you're still working for H&H and just all the things that you've done. And Bishop is just like, I just really wanted to talk to you about a few things. Charity says, you know what, Daddy, I'm already AP, and I don't have to worry about that. And Lady May says, I just hope that you realize how much you're getting played by these people and that they could care less about what you do. And Charity just says, you know what, did it ever occur to you that I have a plan? And Lady May says, a plan? No. Charity walks off, and Bishop, he's just so over it and says, she's not that different from you. And Lady May ignores that comment, and she says, you know what? You are scheduled for your physical, and that's that. Jacob goes to see Tasha and sees she's overdressed for Crump Boulevard. And she says she has nothing casual, and she wears black all the time since her husband died. And Tara wants to know why they're coming, and she informed her that Jacob had a few questions about their dad. And Jacob says, wow, does she really think that Bishop killed her dad? And Tasha says, well, I guess we're about to find out. Zora is talking with Sophia on the couch, and she's like, well, look, I reported all of the photos on Snapchat, and I can't find any of the photos in a basic search, so it seems like everything is taken care of and the matter is gone. And Sophia is hurt from everything, and she starts to throw away things that are Nikki's clothing. And Zora's like, wait a minute, stop throwing those clothes around. Some of those are mine. And as she's doing that, Nikki walks in and has some very harsh words for Sophia, admitting that she posted posted the photos on social media, and Nikki says, you know what, that'll teach you to stop messing with my man, and you're just mad because you got. This leads to a little scuffle that's broken up by Zora, and the cruelty just keeps going as Nikki puts the cherry on the top by saying, at least I can have babies. And Zora tells her to just leave and they just need to just stop fighting. Zora tells Sophia, I swear I didn't say anything. And Sophia's giving her this energy like, wow, like I can't believe you told her this personal information. But Zora's just like, I promise, I didn't say anything about that. Noah stops by while Lady May is excited at his presence, just saying, oh, it's just so wonderful to have you here, and just spreading it very, very thin, with Grace saying, isn't he handsome? Doesn't he get more handsome every day like this movie star? And Grace tries to remain cordial, but it's very evident that she's irritated. Charity is deep in spirit and in prayer before she's interrupted by Phil, of course, requesting that she give her welcome to all of the members before their move. Sort of this promotional presence that they need. Everything that has to do with their future endeavors. And Charity asks, when will she be able to preach? Because she got the runaround from her own family and doesn't want it from him. And Phil says that I'll try. You know that I'm trying. And Phil adds that Judy also needs your help with her music. And she says, wow, I'll need to help her with her music and do other things. But you know what? I'll help. Because when I preach, I need some people to preach too. And if you mess up the music, you already know all the people, they out. Zora takes note of Sophia that lately, even before the things that happened with Nikki, that she's been very quick-tempered and angry. And she's like, look, I don't know what's going on with you, and I know you've had some hardships, but take up running again. Find out how to cook. Find out how to take up some hobbies here and there, because you know what? You don't have the hands for Fight Club. Lady May, Bishop, Grace, and Noah, they continue their conversation over a drink, and Lady May is quick to play this Miss Fix-It to all of their problems, and she's inquiring where Noah will live and lets him know that, after Zora leaves for college, there'll be this vacant room. And Bishop and Grace, they are very insulted and clearly annoyed by even her suggestion. And Lady May says, you know what? One of you gives them away, and the other doesn't even know that he exists. And you got to do what you can to stay connected. And Grace leaves the room, and Bishop follows her to console her. And Bishop tells Grace that, look, your mother was wrong in her approach, but she is correct in some way of thinking that you guys need to have some connection to make sure that your son is okay. Us being connected and us not being, in a way, your mother and I, of not being connected, it really cost us faith. So take that under consideration. Do what you have to do, not necessarily how your mom is suggesting, but make sure you do what you do to co-parent and to make things right with AJ. Jacob wants to know how Tasha found out that Basie died. And Tasha explains that she found out that Basie was dead by a police officer that called her to report that his body was found on a roadside hotel in Laredo. And it's a good guess that Rochelle made it to Mexico. And women like her get where they want to go. And Tasha wants to know from Jacob, look, why don't you just ask Bishop if he had something to do with the death of Basie's father? And Jacob says, you know what, I need to get all the facts first before I go bringing it up to him. And it may be all just a misunderstanding. When they get inside, Jacob gives kudos to Tara. And this character just reminded me of her previous role of the Medea movie when she bent down to get the beer out of the little bear. Ain't no more. But anyway, they get into her ministry, and he gives her kudos of the method of ministry and always wanting his family to get aboard and going directly with the people, not just the people inside of the church. And Tara says that she still believes Bishop killed their dad. And Basie always told me that Dad got a phone call from Bishop saying, come to the church the night he died. And he did. He died that night. And Jacob is saying, you know what, that doesn't prove anything. And how do you know who called him? Did Basie personally answer the phone? And Tara says, No, I don't know. And Jacob says, well, you know what? Do you know the relationship between him and Loretta Davis? And Tara says, wait, look, I can't answer any more questions until I find out what you're trying to ask for. Like, what's going on? And Jacob says, look, I promise that as soon as I get more information, I'll fill you in. But for now, I just need to get back to finding out what's going on for me. Sophia gets a call from AJ. Bishop, Lady May, and Corinne discuss possible staff. He learns that Harold is down, but wants to know what their health care is all about. But he wants to get all that information before being the building manager. And Carlton isn't available because he has other endeavors. Lady May refuses to ask Charity to do music, and Corinne offers her services because with the type of church that you guys have, I mean, it is a bar, all I need to do is press play. And Lady May and Bishop give it a quick thought and realize that she's kind of right and says, you're hired. Tara leaves a voicemail with someone letting them know that I just got out of a very important meeting and very interesting meeting with Jacob Greenleaf. Call me back. Charity drops off music suggestions to Judy for the next 6 months, and Judy can't wait to just flaunt her ring and the relationship that she has with Phil. But Charity wants to let her know that everything that you're doing, flaunting the ring in my face, talking about your relationship with Phil, your status in the church, that it doesn't bother me. And you have your father Bob to do a lot of things, but I have a father with a higher power. I have a father with more control. You heard of the hare and the tortoise, and Judy's just like, oh, let me guess, you're the tortoise. She's like, no, I'm Godzilla. And, my God will take care of whatever he needs to take care of. And I have no doubt that he'll be on my side when the end comes around. Grace and Noah have small talk before Sophia arrives because AJ wanted to see her. And of course, it shocks Grace and you can see the hurt in her face. Sophia brings the sweatshirt that he requests and wants to know, what's the deal? What's going on? Why did I get the lucky yes to come see you and not anyone else? And unless he starts talking, she just doesn't know why he's being so secretive. And he's just like, you know what? The hospital told me that unless I start my electroshock and do more with them, that, I'll have to leave. And I don't want to do that, so I'm just going to leave. But before I did that, I wanted to talk to my sister. And Sophia says, you know what? I just want to know why you killed yourself. You're talking about leaving, but you just won't be real with me. And if you're going to leave, if you're going to do all of that, the least you can do is tell me the truth. Phil stops Charity in the hallway before she's leaving the building to tell her that Judy was impressed by her being so helpful. And Charity is just like, hey, you can't be grabbing on my arm and all lovey-dovey all over me, telling me stuff like things are the way that they are. My son is waiting for me. And anything that you think that happened in the past that you can continue, it won't happen. You're praying on miracles and you're thinking that we can have this status like we did in the past. It's just not going to happen. Let it go. I got to go. And you can't keep harpooning me and thinking I'm a fool like you did in the past. Jacob takes Tasha back home and thanks her for all of her help. And Tasha wants to know if he really liked her in the past. And he says, well, yeah, I really liked you in the past, but with all the circumstances, you know how things happen. And maybe after his divorce that maybe they can talk. She leans over to give him a kiss, but he says, you know what? This time, let's do it right. And Tasha acknowledges that he's a good man and he's trying to turn things around. Judy tells Phil when they get home that, wow, Charity has such a powerful just aura about herself, calling herself Godzilla. And wow, we even talked about her future and how she's just gonna so-called preach us out of this job. And as she's talking, Phil says, you know what? I just want to sit down and eat. Can you pray? And with the direction, we're allowed to see that the food that she cooked looked seasonless and tasteless and it was just stuff that didn't go together. And he doesn't look too pleased. And she starts to give this prayer that's so dramatic, and Phil is just over it at this point. Karissa is on the phone and she's saying very nonchalantly, oh no, he doesn't have a job yet. He's not even looking for one. Oh, you know what, let me call you back. And it's very evident that she's on the phone with her lawyer. But Jacob says, oh, well, is that your lawyer? And she's like, yeah, I'm just filling her in. And he's like, go ahead and let her know the deal is off. I want equal shared custody. And Karissa says, and your father in jail? And Jacob says, you know what? If he's supposed to go there, if he's supposed to go to jail, he'll go there. And, but I'm going to find out. And Carissa's just like, well, what do you mean? What is that supposed to mean? You'll find out. And Karissa is thrown off because now this time, Jacob doesn't have this concern of this blackmail that she's holding against him. And she seems very alert and kind of like, uh-oh, at this point. AJ says to Sophia that he just can't be a family. And Sophia wants him to be honest and be real. And if he can't do what she's asking and leaving and not saying goodbye, then she's done with him. She doesn't want to keep toying with the fact of trying to figure out what's wrong with him. Bishop is getting his workout on and he's trying to prove to Lady Mae that he still has this oomph before he gets this physical. And Jacob is just like, do you have a new routine? Is it something that you got going on? And he's just like, no, I'm just trying to get my workout on and just prove that everything's okay. And Jacob says, you know what? I only want to know one thing. And Bishop's just like, yeah, well, what is it? He's like, no, can you stop? Can you stop working out? I really want to talk to you. And when I ask you this, I need you to just tell me the truth and just say it, okay? And Bishop's just like, yeah, what's on your mind? What is it? And he says, Dad, did you call Mr. James the night he died, asking him to come to the church? He's like, no, why? And Jacob is like, are you sure? He's like, yeah, I'm sure. Why are you asking me this? And he's like, did you know that Loretta Davis originally left this house to Darnell James? Bishop is like, no, I have the will in here. He's like, no. There was another will before that one, leaving it to him. And Bishop wants to know what's the meaning behind all of this. Why is he asking him all of these questions? But Jacob only responds and says, it's complicated. Lady Mae speaks with Charity, and at that time, Charity is in her room spending some quality time with her son. And she tells Charity, in the midst of me trying to think of a name for this new church, look what I found. And she found Charity's old hymn book and her old notes in there saying that she was a reverend. And it kind of floors, Charity that she even found it and still has it. And she says, in the midst of me trying to find a name for this church, I realized that we have our set roles in life. We could think that we want to do certain things, but we have our own destinies, our own things that we're supposed to do. And Charity says, Mama, I never really just wanted to be a singer and that's it. And she says, I know, baby. I know that you're meant to do more than one thing. And Charity says, you know what? Why not call it Eternally Faith? Eternally Faith Fellowship, yeah. And Lady Mae says, I love it. And whether you remember or not, I'm letting you know that the associate pastor role stands. Charity says that she'll give it some thought, but doesn't give her an answer at this time. Grace paces back and forth in the waiting room, and Noah is telling her that he will see us when he is ready, just to sit down and chill out. You're going to drive yourself crazy. And in the midst of the anticipation, we see that Sophia is walking out of the room in tears, and Grace is just like, well, what's wrong? And she reports that AJ says that he wants to see you. She goes into the room, and AJ says, I'm going to tell you something. And after that, I don't want to talk about it anymore. And Grace agrees. And he says, while I was locked up, I was raped in prison. And that inmate gave me HIV. And Grace is brought to tears. And that is the end of the episode. Okay, you guys, well, it's kind of difficult for me to be joking and laughing like I usually am a lot because this was such a tough thing to learn about AJ. Many of us guessed it because the doctor in the last episode asked Grace if she touched any of the sharp objects, if she was around himself when he cut himself, if the young lady on the couch was his girlfriend, asking all of those questions because, of course, as doctors, they learned of his blood work, his medical history, etc. So many of us guessed that it was something going on. Some people said HIV, some people said AIDS. So we were correct. It's very interesting that AJ didn't share this information sooner because it could have put people at risk with what he did, but maybe he was just so depressed about what happened that he really just couldn't find the heart. And the interesting thing is that he didn't want to see his parents. So that's another red flag because we're still questioning AJ. We're still questioning what is it besides this information that we've learned about him having HIV. What is it about him that is so strange? I know a lot of viewers don't even believe that's her real son. Like, we're still curious about who is the guy that got killed in the shootout. Is that Grace's real son? We are still up in the air about who is this guy? Who is this kid? Interesting to me that Zora, even with her past of being kind of a hard-headed teenager, that she even said this to Sophia, hey, I'm noticing that you're kind of quick-tempered and hot-headed. I know that you got some bad news about your health and everything like that, but it seems like it's getting worse. You might want to pick up some hobbies or run again. So that was just good that Zora, even though she was feeling some type of way about Sophia, that she kind of conjured up to her and said, hey, this is family. Maybe I should suggest to her, hey, don't go the route that I did. I'm trying to check you about your behavior. I thought that was very big of her that she stepped in to just say, hey, cool it down, and just try to get it together, girl. I mean, you tripping. Another thing that I thought was very interesting was Tasha. As a wife, would you just accept over the phone that, hey, somebody's calling you and your husband's body was found? Okay, have you seen his body? Did you have a funeral? Did you go somewhere to identify the body? I wouldn't just accept that information over the phone. Is Tasha hiding information, or is she really boo-boo the fool and just trusting some random call over the phone that he's quote-unquote dead? I don't think Basie's dead. I just think he wanted to get away from it all. And maybe him being in Mexico or escaping to another area maybe gets him away from all of the BS and possible jail time and fraud that he could have faced in the States. That's what I think's going on. I don't think he's dead at all. I think that he's kicking back, chilling, trying to get away from the people that he owed money to with his gambling issues, and people found out some stuff about him, and he's just like, hey, Tasha, I'm laying low. Does she know the truth, or is she trusting the word of what some random phone call she got? That story doesn't make any sense to me. I do like that the writers are pulling and tying everything together so it can answer a lot of the questions that we've had for, really, I guess you can say, since 2 seasons ago. Questions that we had since season 3. It was really, really refreshing to finally again see Charity with her son. I thought he dropped off the face of the planet because we hadn't seen him in a while. Where's her baby daddy? Like, even though he's not, really a main character anymore, I mean, it's just kind of like, they just ignored a lot of characters for a while. So it's kind of good that we're seeing people again and that we're tying some loose ends to what's going on with Bishop. And I'm wondering why Jacob is asking him all of these questions and really believing that that's the original will. Do you think that he'll do a little research of his own to do a little digging? I'm kind of concerned for Darius. Like, he's going to Vegas to dig and get more information. You've already lost your job. It wouldn't surprise me if somebody's keeping an eye on him, to following him, to see what he's doing. And it's a lot that can happen in Vegas, and I hope he's just okay, and I hope he's safe. Grace is very frustrated with her mom and trying to play matchmaker and just trying to push them together and make stuff happen when she's not interested in Noah. It's just a bad situation that he's been away for 5 years on one plane and trying to figure out where he's been. And no, really, but you could tell that the character Grace is just like, Ma, just stop it. I understand you're trying to make things right, but just no, that's just not where we are. Also, what was interesting was Karissa. She seems very, very disappointed that Jacob's not intimidated by her blackmail anymore. She seemed as if she was disappointed because she doesn't have a plan B. She can't rub that in his face and have him scared. He's really not concerned about how she's holding that over her head. And she's acting if he doesn't have any ammo to bring to the court of law, as if he can't bring some proof that she cheated and that she even contracted an STD. So she needs to pump her brakes, get off that high horse, and understand that they're both on the same playing field of doing wrong within their marriage. I know it seems crazy, and I know it seems off the wall and off the chain, and a lot of viewers might disagree with me. But I really think that there's some love there still between Karissa and Jacob. Even though I don't like the way she's been behaving and she really gets on my nerves. I mean, she's on the top 2 list of being annoying. Charity being number 1 and then Karissa being number 2. Karissa is really just hurt. She's acting the way that she's acting because she wants him to feel the pain that she's felt for so many years. Is it right? No. But she's clearly showing out and showing off that, hey, I can inflict you the same pain that you inflicted on me. I really think they can work things out. Sit down and have a little chit chat and say, look, I hurt you, you hurt me. Let's make this work, okay? I'm sorry. Let's just move forward, because Carissa's trying to do any and everything to hurt Jacob, because I think in her head is payback. She wants full custody. She wants to be taken care of financially. She wants this. She wants that. But forgetting that she's done wrong as well. Also, Charity seems as if she's been listening to the little angel on her shoulder for a change. She seems as if she's tired of being the person that's inflicting pain on her family. But like I said in the other review, she's behaving the way that she's behaving because she's always felt that she was the last to be heard. She always felt that she was the last to be considered in all family endeavors. And now that she's seen everybody in pain, now that she's inflicted stuff on other people, she's starting to have a change of heart because she realizes, wow, I really acted like a jerk. And now that she's getting the boomerang to her own actions of things that Phil did to her and H&H endeavors, now she's starting to say, you know what? Maybe I should start praying for the other way around, not trying to hurt my family and not really focusing on what I want. Let me just chill out and realize what I've done. So it's really refreshing to see a tidbit of her acting right. Not acting right, acting right. ACKIN. But anywho, let me know what you think. Please subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any posts, and also follow me on Instagram so you can get sneak peeks of what's coming up next. Check out my last post concerning skincare. Okay, you guys, I did a 30-day challenge on certain things, and check that out and see that before and that after. Also, make sure to check out those playlists. Insecure, we got Handmaid's Tale that's coming back soon if you need to binge watch on that. We also have, and the winner is Pose. Make sure you catch up on that amazing series, and there's so much more to look forward to. There's so much more to binge watch on. Let me know what's on your mind and your thoughts about this episode and your predictions in the future. Until next time, I'll see ya. Bye.